right. So Deja is a hood chick. Did Antonio really believe she would let him go after everything she did for him? The book says she turned on her baby's father and his crew for Antonio. Um, no, well, I don't know what Antonio was thinking. Actually, I would like to know what that car ride was like because he probably do know a little bit about her and how she was willing to turn on her baby's dad and get folks locked up. And he's like, oh, hold on. I might be catching the case here. I don't think he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this and then, I'm gonna go sleep at home and, act like it never happened. He has to know on some level that Deja is coming for blood and she's coming. She was threatening him, with some heavy threats before he messed her up. And so now that he messed her up and did some stuff, yeah, I don't think he thinks he's gonna get away with it. It's just I wonder what he's gonna do to what he's gonna do to I guess he can't really avoid it, but to try and protect himself because in the end, yeah, she is a hood chick. She knows some people. She might have some connections, and they might do something bad to him. Yeah, I don't think he believes that's the end. Basically, it's not over. It's definitely not over.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that she had turned on her baby father for and the crew for Antonio because that puts a bigger price on things that she's well connected to a few people too, And so I was also thinking, did Antonio think that he killed her? And because just how he destroyed everything and he even stopped and looked at her. And so I'm not sure because why would you leave so much evidence, even urinating on her, it's just like, or he does have those connections, in Rose City that's gonna protect him so he don't even care, but I think in the moment he's just so hot-headed, so upset, he's not even thinking about all that, but he is gonna have that aha moment soon. Where he's just like, oh dang, I shouldn't have did that. I really messed up. So it's gonna hit him eventually.
Yeah. It always comes back to bite you. I think that Antonio, I think in his mind, he's banking on the fact that the streets know that Deja turned on her crew, her people. And that's just loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And you ratted out some people. So she's been under the protection of Antonio and his organization. So if anybody tried to come for her, based on what she did to Ryan's crew and her baby's father, they knew that it was going to be met with some blowback. Like, nah, because she out here with this other dude, he a whole kingpin. Like, she protecting that, right? I believe that he thinks she's no longer has my protection, and I'm sending her back out in the streets, right? It's almost like a prison culture. You know what I'm saying? If you have the protection of certain gangs in prison, you good. But if that person takes that protection away, then all the hyenas, everybody knows it's going to be a free for all on you, right? So now Deja is going to have to be in a very tough place to figure out what does she have. And I'm going to tell you something: when you don't have anything, you're more dangerous because you ain't got nothing to lose. So Antonio definitely better watch his back. I don't, my thing is, if he was done with her, he didn't like what she said, whatever, he could have just walked away. Like, you know what I'm saying? April, or not April, but you know what I'm saying, Deja? Like, this has run its course. You talking crazy, you asking me to leave the wifey, you doing whatever. But to me, I feel like he likes that type of, people call it hood love or struggle love. It ain't love. That's chaos. Like, a part of him really, he was getting off on that. You know what I'm saying? He really liked that interaction, that banter, and it was negativity and toxicity, and he was feeding into it. He was pouring gasoline on a fire. So I feel like he's underestimated her. Um, there is nowhere else to go but up. She has reached rock bottom now with what he's done to her. So I believe that she's one of them people that he better watch his back. You know what I mean? Because she's mad, and plus she has information on his organization as well too. So I don't know what he was thinking. Like he was just being so sloppy. But we talk about that. Sometimes people get so high up in what they're doing, they just start to feel like they're untouchable. And it's those types of sloppy things that you do, beating people up, leaving DNA, all this stuff. Like the position that you're in as a criminal defense attorney, you know what I'm saying, working for a really nice, prestigious law firm, why would you do that? You are abusing your own power, your own status, where it could cause people to start looking at you. If she gets mad and starts flapping her gums and goes to the police or to the feds, she could bring down whatever he has. I'm sure she doesn't know too much information about the ins and the outs and how things work, but she knows that he moves weight. She knows that he's involved in some different things that he should not be involved in. She knows that much. She may not know who the connect is. She may not know that, but she knows some stuff. I think another part of the problem is with Antonio, he's banking on this like this hood street, you know what I'm saying, stay silent code. She probably thinking she ain't going to the cops. Deja ain't stupid. You didn't knock out this woman's teeth, peed on her, beat her until the point where she's unconscious, halfway dead, cut all her hair off, bleached her clothes, tore up her house, including the child's bedroom, and you talking about something. She ain't go to police. Like that, you really think that no matter what you do, that she's not gonna turn you in because of who you are? I think he has a rude awakening coming for him. It's just my thoughts. So the next question is mine. The book says that Deja's nose and ribs were broken. The way Antonio came for Deja made me feel like he had done this before. What made you write this scene? So the first part, I do think that the way he attacked her, this wasn't somebody who's like, let me try something new. I think that if we were to really dig into Antonio's past, he probably has a very bad history of attacking women that he's dating, women that he feels are lesser than. You see what I'm saying? And he likes a certain kind of woman, let's be honest. He likes hood chicks. He likes women who have come up out the strip club. Most women who've come out the strip club, from what I know, you know what I'm saying, and what women I know who have been strippers have told me, they're like, they don't ever want to go back. That's not an environment that you want to be in. The way that, the way that you're treated up over there, it's just not what you want. And when you feel like you have no other skill set, like, yeah, you can go back to school, but you also get addicted to the money. Like a lot of people be like, yo, like, I want to leave, but you making, you know what I'm saying, $1,000 a night or more, it's kind of like, how do you walk away from that? You're making more money and it's legit than people who have degrees and stuff. You know what I mean? So they get caught up in the lifestyle because a lot of people, they don't know how to save. I had one friend made a lot of money every night, but she was always like, girl, I'm broke. And I'm like, how? You make all this money? And she's like, because I don't know how to save. She was like, I spend. She's like, I'm like water with money, just it's going everywhere. And I'm like, that's why you gotta be strategic. But I feel like he goes after a certain kind of women. I think he goes after people that he feels like they need him. And he goes after women that he feels like won't really put up much resistance and fight, like fight him back. Not like she won't physically fight him back, but I'm talking about fight him back using using the system, or fight him back using public shame. People know who they can go after. Just like whatever your take on the whole R. Kelly thing is neither here nor there, but I have a take on it and it's my show and we're going to talk about it here. Not you ladies, but I'm talking about anybody who might want to watch and say something stupid. Um, it was very, yeah, this is our show. This is what we doing. He went after certain kind of women. R. Kelly went after black women. Let's be honest. When we complain and say something's going on, we like, people just really aren't listening, right? Had R. Kelly been out here raping young white women, baby, after he did the first or the second one, it would have been rap. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't have just let him get away with that, marrying people and forging stuff. He would have been wrapped up. It would have got him a long time. So Antonio has picked his victims very well. He knows who he can get away with this stuff with. And so some people are like, well, I'm still gonna listen to so and so's music. You do what you want to do, but just know who people are and how they move. People are going after vulnerable individuals. They're going after people who don't have strong family ties. They're going after people who don't have a lot of money. Going after people who usually don't even have a lot of education, who don't even know how to make smart choices or moves for themselves. A lot of these people have lived lives like Erica, where they've been abused. They're accustomed to this type of foolishness, people putting their hands on them, and or seeing their mother being abused, or just being in some really low down places, and people choose their victims based on that type of stuff, you know. And I feel like I've heard men say, I don't have to respect her because like she came from the strip club, or she used to be a former prostitute, or she was an escort. I don't have to respect her, but you're laying down with her. You're like acting like you're dating somebody, but you're really like playing games. And well, I don't have to respect him. And I feel like that's Antonio's way of looking at this young woman. Like, you don't have to respect her. You know, he's getting all that he can get. So I definitely feel like he feels that Deja's not gonna, she's not gonna snitch on him. She's not gonna say nothing because he knows that he has picked a person who lives by like street code. You know, and you know something happens, you just go get your revenge. You don't get the police involved. So the other part of that, I'll go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what made you write this scene?
Um, I really wanted to show this like double side to these people's lives. Like we've been talking about, there's all these two-faced characters. What does that mean to be a two-faced character? You know, what does it mean to live your life one way and then behind closed doors, right? So I wanted to show people how ugly these men in suits are. You know, I wanted to show people like the dark side, the underbelly to what you think that you see. Like we always, oh wow, like Antonio's really out here going hard with this perfect black family image. You know, April's on board for a lot of what he's got going. They have the house, the car, the child. It looks like they on some Bel Air stuff, you know, where Uncle Phil's got the perfect black family, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of ugly things going on. So, and I think that the scene with the way that he attacked Deja, it's extremely common. It's way too common, actually. You know what I mean? When somebody feels like they have a bag that you need, when they feel like they are financing your lifestyle, they feel like they can put you through stuff because you're addicted to the bag. You know what I'm saying? I can put you through hell. I can talk to you. I can call you names. I can, you know, because I got something that essentially you need. It's almost like pushing dope, almost like you are a crack addict, you're addicted to this, or you are addicted to this coke, and you're gonna keep coming back to your source. So I just really wanted to show this other side of Antonio because at this point we see him club owner. You know, he has lounges. He's got this, you know, all these other successful businesses, beautiful house. And the way that he romanticizes Malia, you're like, wow, maybe him and April do need to call it quits and he can be with his one true love. But we also still know that this dude's a whole kingpin in the streets. Like, and I think with as women, we tend to romanticize, like, I know he's dangerous, but he's got so many other good qualities. I mean, he's a good guy underneath all that dope, like and them guns and stuff and getting people killed. He's a good guy, right? So I really wanted to show like what does this look like on the other side of this? What does this look like when he's with his side chick? You know, what does this really look like? Because again, I think that men behaving the way that Antonio's behaving is very common. Even if you don't have the money, even if you don't have the power, the level of disrespect that you could have for a human being behind closed doors. So I wrote this scene years ago, and I had to constantly keep rewriting it because it was never really done. I had a lot of restrictions on myself, and I say on myself because can't nobody really restrict you. The only person can restrict you is you if you let yourself be, and I can't allow myself to be restricted by nobody. We broke out of that a long time ago. Still working on breaking out some other areas, but we doing a good job. You know what I mean? So when I first wrote the scene, it was just like, okay, yeah, he beat her up. And then it was like, that's not deep enough. Like one thing about me is I like SVU, right? Um, some of those scenes get really crazy. You know, like, was that necessary? It was meant to be shocking. This wasn't a scene that I wrote with the intentions of it being like, he hit her and it wasn't that big of a deal. No, this wasn't just you have a bruised eye. This was this person trying to snatch your soul out your body. You know what I mean? This was total carnage. And I really wanted to go deep, even though I mean, even for myself to reread it, because I read it like twice last night. And I'm like, you animal. I'm like, you wrote this. So maybe I'm the animal for writing it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I wrote it and I wanted it to be as ugly as possible because I do feel that as women, we've got to learn to start waking up. We got to learn to start seeing red flags. This man's a whole married man and has a whole, you know, underworld empire. he's not going to be a respectful guy. He's already a liar. You know what I mean? If you're already out here cheating on your woman with multiple people, but you want to do stuff respectfully, so you got people out here knowing her name. That's I don't even understand that. People know your chick's name because you're just so bold with it. So what they gonna run up on her like? Well, I got a little secret because me and your man's. You letting people know it. Make it make sense, but he's so arrogant. Who gonna check him? Who gonna come check Antonio? Like, so I wanted to write this scene as ugly as possible, without murdering her, because we need to know this is not normal. This is not okay. This type of behavior, this type of language should never be tolerated. I don't care what the bag look like. I don't care if you drop off 10,000 a week. Certain things we just can't do. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Like, what is the limitation? I told you, disrespect and physical violence. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And this is what this looks like. And you'll have some women who will get all the treatment that Deja received, and they'll still go back. Once they're all healed up 3 months later, well, he said he was sorry. And I really shouldn't have been pushing his buttons. And I was talking about, his fiance, and that's off limits. I shouldn't have did that. Women figure out a way to blame themselves instead of pointing the finger and saying, you the one who knocked them teeth up, bro. You the one out there pouring bleach and destroying stuff in the room and putting holes in the wall. Like, put the blame where the blame is due. So yeah, I wanted to make the scene ugly. And I think I succeeded. I think I shocked my own self with it. I was like, this is really ugly. And I was just like, what else you got to add on that, Kyrie? You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, let's make this ugly. You know what I mean? This isn't supposed to be cute, but this is real life, and we glamorize the beautiful woman who's got all the labels with the good looking guys, but we don't know that a lot of these things are going on behind the scenes. Like, it costs something. When you're dealing with these type of men, it's going to cost you something. It might even cost you your life. So hopefully that ain't the case, but for a lot of people it's costing.
Yeah, I definitely think this scene should make a few people rethink choices if they're finding themselves in Deja's shoes, because I mean, it was so graphic. It was just like, oh my goodness. But like you said, this stuff happens every day, and maybe not to this extreme, but it happens. I don't care if it's this big, or this extreme, it's happening, and this just brings great awareness to that, because we only see the Prada bags and Balenciagas, I'm trying to come up with names I don't know.
Cheese, yes,
The
you got it.
cars and,
Mm-hmm.
all the glamorous stuff
Them
that we
Dior,
see on
Christian
social
Dior.
media and on TV. But what are these women really dealing with behind closed doors? What are they really having to put up with? So we're only seeing one side of that. So although it was graphic, I loved and appreciated this scene.